thin trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
It pays to participate in LES Peak Rewards. You can earn a $25 gift card when you enroll your qualified smart thermostat in the program. Help curb electric demand and sign up today at les.com/peak rewards.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Now's the time to schedule your air conditioner service check with Bryant. Make sure it's ready to keep you cool and comfortable when you really need it. Call Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Friday abbreviated edition of the Carriker, or the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake and I are only half as important as we used to be, at least for today. Could the schedule be slightly altered Monday and Tuesday as well? Maybe noon to 1 on Monday and Tuesday next week, or do we know yet?
Yeah, that does seem like a strong possibility. I'll put it that way.
All right, Jake will let me know probably about 2 a.m. on Sunday night because that's how we roll. But we will be here nonetheless noon to 1, at least on Monday and Tuesday next week, if they decide we're important enough. 11 to 1. We'll see how that unfolds. All right, back to old times today. 1 hour show. I feel like I'm going to take 3 breaths and the show is going to be over. It's going to be so quick today. All right, we got a lot to talk about. Nebraska baseball. Epic comeback yesterday versus Purdue. Erased their largest, I don't want to say it that way, largest comeback victory. Yeah, I'm gonna phrase it that way. Largest comeback victory we've had in a decade and a half, since 2000. and 10. We're also going to talk about the top 10 college football matchups this fall. We talked about non-conference matchups yesterday. These are the top 10 matchups, at least according to On3, in the entire college football season. In conference, out of conference, what are the games that you need to pay attention to the most, according to these folks? Anyways, Jake and I will obviously give our opinions. And Trae Taylor. All right. Right now, our only committed recruit for the 2027 recruiting cycle, very early on, obviously. But because of Trae, we're already a top 10 class in the country for 2027, number 9 in the country. But he's doing a ton of peer recruiting. So the question that needs to be asked is he our most important recruit we've had since, dare I say, Ndamukong Suh? Angie Jurassic actually wrote an article about this. That's what prompted me to think about this. So we're going to talk about Trae Taylor and just how important he is. Now, some folks are going to be like, well, how do we know he's even going to be here? Other coaches are going to be nonstop recruiting this kid for the next couple of years. So we can chat about that as well. All right, but Trae Taylor being Nebraska's most important recruit / commit since Ndamukong Suh? Question mark. So we're going to chat about all of the aforementioned items in the upcoming next hour on this Friday edition of the Adam Carriker Show. All right, it doesn't matter how long it is. You can always grab your lunch. You can come join us. All right, what you're going to get, what you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, sports in general. What you're going to get is unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. Before we dive into this thing, light this candle. Your daily friendly reminder, the inaugural Carriker Chronicles football camp is this summer. Lincoln, Nebraska, LYF, Lincoln Youth Football Fields. The camp that is for the kids, ladies and gentlemen. We're very excited to do this. K through 8th graders, boys and girls. All right, autographs included, T-shirts included. Come learn from such former Huskers as Eric Crouch, Amon Green, Zach Weger, Kenny Wilhite, and I will be wandering around as well for some sort of reason. It'll be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you want to register and or learn more. Feel free to tell a friend if you'd like. Go to carrikerchronicles.com to register and or learn more. And we're happy to be able to help local at-risk kids here in the community as well, and other kids abroad with what we're doing, certain things with this camp as well. Let's start right off the top. Nebraska softball is going to be taking on, in about 1 hour and 56 minutes, UConn, the Big East champs. UConn's got a pretty good lineup, probably the strength of their team. Defense and pitching are kind of next in line. So with all the home runs and runs that Nebraska can score, we'll see. Could this be a higher scoring, depending on who we end up pitching today? Probably Jordy Ball, but we'll see what happens, how they want to play this. All right, could this be a higher scoring affair? But Nebraska softball taking on UConn today in about 1 hour and 56 minutes. All right, at the Louisiana Regional. LSU's the number 1 seed. Nebraska's number 2. UConn's number 3. Southeastern Louisiana's the number 4 seed in that regional there. All right, Nebraska baseball. Nebraska mounted its largest comeback since 2010 to pick up an 11-9 win over Purdue on Thursday night at Alexander Field in West Lafayette, Indiana. The Huskers trailed 8-0 after 3 innings. And if you paid attention to what was being said online, it wasn't a bunch of hugs and butterfly kisses verbally online. And then all of a sudden, some people disappeared and some people kind of switched what they were saying. But the Huskers trailed 8-0 after 3 innings, making it the Big Red's largest come-from-behind win since rallying from a 10-run deficit against North Dakota on March 30th in 2010. Nebraska's record, they are now above 500 for the first time in a while overall, 27-26, back to 500 in the Big Ten, record-wise anyways. Scored 11 runs on 14 hits and an error, while Purdue's pretty good. If you didn't know, they're 30-22 overall. Okay, at least their overall record. Their Big Ten record, maybe not so much, 10-18. Total 9 runs on 11 hits and 2 errors as well. Dylan Carey was 2 for 4 with a homer, 3 RBI, and 2 runs scored. Ken Brumbaugh drove in 3 runs on a 2 for 6 night. That's a lot of at-bats in one game with a double. Riley Silva, Joshua Overbeek, and Case Sanderson pieced together 2-hit performances as well. This was a heck of a comeback victory. Showed a lot of mental fortitude, toughness. It's been a battle this season for Nebraska baseball. You kind of get the feeling they might be hitting their stride, hopefully at the right time. Get into that Big Ten tournament. Maybe they can make some noise. Maybe they can win the thing, which would be about the only way that they'd get in to the postseason beyond the Big Ten tournament. You never know what can happen. This is a squad that won this thing last year, the Big Ten tournament, predicted to be in the Big Ten tournament championship game again this year. Finished this regular season strong. Great comeback win versus Purdue last night. Get into that tournament. You never know what can happen. Now, there's a Jake with me, but he looks a little bit different. Jake Sorensen, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Adam. How are you?
Life is good. Did you come in to admire my horse? Is that what's going on?
That's exactly why I came in here. 100%.
So if you're watching on YouTube or TV or whatever the case may be, you may have noticed the little horse next to me. My 7-year-old daughter, Jordan, yesterday came up to me out of nowhere. She's like, Daddy, will you take this to work with you tomorrow? And I'm like, sure, I will. Sure. She goes, no. Will you take this to work with you tomorrow? Okay, yes, I will. Yes. She goes, no. Will you sit it right next to you during your show on the ticket? So here's what I know is going to happen. First of all, I said yes. What I know is going to happen, she's going to come home today. She's going to click on YouTube. She's going to see if I did this. So, Jordan.
There's the horse.
This horse is for you. All right, Jake. Of course, your kids are a little bit younger. What's your oldest?
I have one child, and she is 13 months old.
Okay,
so
that's
it.
She has no unique requests just yet.
No, just up and food and whatever. Like no words yet. Just mama, dad, baba. All right, that kind of stuff.
What was the first word she said? Was it mama?
I think I'm gonna go with mama because it was. I mean, she was going kind of ba ba ba, and then mama came after that. So
all right.
So that's the scoop there.
The things we parents do for our children, you don't hesitate to do it. So we have 3 co-hosts on the show today. All right, we got a couple of new faces. Jake Sorensen, no stranger, obviously, to the ticket, but I don't know what the name. I'm just going to call it horse. All right,
name
horse.
For that horse. I'm surprised that she didn't give you a name for it.
So she's had this teddy bear since she was born. The name is just Bear.
Just Bear.
She's almost 8. This thing is tattered. There's no stuffing left. I think we're missing an eye and a half, an ear and a half. She takes it with her everywhere, and this thing is still hanging on by a thread. It's just simply named Bear. So I assume that this is probably simply just called horse, maybe horsey. I don't know. All right, but the things we do for our kids, I'm curious. On the text line, let me know, ladies and gentlemen. What's that number there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
What is the most unique thing your child has ever asked you to do that you actually went ahead and did? Let us know on the text line. All right, Nebraska baseball, again, their largest comeback in a decade and a half last night. And we are going to get to Trae Taylor here in just a minute. Is he potentially Nebraska's most important recruit since Ndamukong Suh? All right, we'll get to that in just a minute. But some of the top 10 college football matchups this fall, in conference, out of conference, rivalry games, non-rivalry games. We talked about non-conference games yesterday, and we talked about some of the rivalries that we missed the most and we like to see brought back. When you look ahead, and I don't know how familiar you are with Nebraska or the college football schedule as a whole next year, Jake, but when you look ahead, there's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M and Texas is back. I don't know if you care about that or not. Some of the big-time matchups, what are some of the ones that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, I think off the bat, the Texas-Ohio State is the big one. I mean, how could you not circle that one and say that's the most fun game of the year? And that's for week 1. That's the unfortunate thing is week 1. That you'd like to have that later on in the season, and it's just not going to happen. But that could be a potential playoff game. Mm-hmm. It was last year. Mm-hmm. We saw those teams in the semifinals, and Texas, of course, played well, but had a big fumble late in the game that hurt them. And Ohio State wins it all. But I'm happy to see that matchup again. But that's the big one I've circled so far is that one. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but that is one I'm definitely pumped for. I also am pumped for off the bat in Dublin, Iowa State, K-State. I know that's a conference game. It's not a non-conference, but they've done a nice job in Dublin. Nebraska, Northwestern. You've seen other games. Georgia Tech, Florida State last year. They've done a good job with some good matchups. And bringing Farmageddon out to Dublin, it's gonna be great.
Farmageddon, I love that.
Week 0.
That is awesome. No, they've actually done. I don't know what started the Ireland game every year. Maybe you know. Do you know what started that?
I don't. I mean, it was. I think Notre Dame has been out there several times. Navy's been out there several times. It's just the Aviva Stadium. There's I forget the group that did it. I went to the game a couple years ago out there, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. But I'm glad they brought it. I don't know why. It's Aer Lingus, the Aer Lingus Classics. I think that's the the airline out there. But I'm not sure what made it happen, but I am thankful they did. And everybody that goes out there for all these fan bases raves about it, as they should. It's it's a beautiful stadium. It's obviously a great country. People always want to visit Ireland. Great excuse to go watch football. So I hope that things never stop going there. And I know they won't, because the NFL is going to Ireland this year for the first time ever. So bring on more Ireland games and travel there if you have the chance, people. I'm telling you, do it. Do it.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. They've done a phenomenal job making it an intriguing game every year in week 0. As we look at the top 10 college football games next fall, at least according to On3 here. At number 10, they have Ohio State, Michigan. You knew that was going to be on the list somewhere. Can Ohio State finally get off the snide? As Nebraska fans, do we want them to? I kind of enjoy them losing to Michigan every single year. All right, but I also like the Big Ten having a legit national title contender every year, and that's probably more so Ohio State over more so than Michigan, at least this upcoming season, but we'll see what happens. All right, Ohio State, Michigan. Number 9, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. This is overarching Big Ten, SEC, Notre Dame. I don't think there's a Big 12 matchup on here, an ACC matchup on here. Ooh, there is an FCS matchup. That's intriguing. All right, well, we'll get to that in just a second. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. It's going to be at South Bend this year. That's going to be intriguing. For whatever reason, I still remember the 94 Cotton Bowl. Why that sticks out to me, I was like 8. But Notre Dame beat A&M in the Cotton Bowl. And so for whatever reason, anytime A&M and Notre Dame play, which isn't that often, I always think of that game. I don't know why that was. But that's the year Notre Dame actually beat Florida State. Florida State beat us. And even though Florida technically beat us, even though Florida State lost to Notre Dame, had the same record, Florida State won the national title, Notre Dame did not, which will never make any sense to me. At number 8, South Dakota and North Dakota State. Would you put that in the top 10?
They put South Dakota State or South Dakota?
They put South Dakota. I think they meant South Dakota State.
Well, I mean, South Dakota was good last year. I would get if it is South Dakota, but South Dakota State has been the king of FCS with North Dakota State for years. So, yeah, I mean, that's a game that if I had the chance to go watch it in person, again, I have no dog in the fight. I don't root for either team. That'd be fun to see. I've never been to like an FCS game of FCS versus FCS. I've seen Nebraska, South Dakota State here and other FCS teams, but it'd be fun to go to Brookings or Fargo and see those teams play, or Vermilion if it is South Dakota. But that'd be fun. I'd be down for a trip.
So as I read the article, it says South Dakota State in the article. So I think the headline meant South Dakota State.
Okay.
Number 7 is actually Montana State and Montana. It's hilarious. I forget which.
Back-to-back FCS there.
Yeah. When I was being recruited out of high school, one of them was really good. One of them was really bad. I can't remember. I want to say Montana was really good. Montana State was really bad.
That sounds right.
Yeah, now Montana State's really stepped it up.
Yes.
You ever been to Montana?
Just like to I went to Yellowstone. I went to Montana, like barely into Montana. To say I went there. So very much so in the court. Gardner, Montana, I have been to. That's it. Gardner.
My mom actually grew up in a log cabin that my grandpa Warner built literally on the side of a mountain on 100 acres.
Okay.
I don't know if you can look on a map of Montana, it says Lewistown. It's a small town. It's literally the very center of Montana. She grew up about 6 miles outside of town. But I've been to Billings and Great Falls. My sister still lives there. So I actually have a little bit of a tie, not insanely direct tie, but like an outlier tie to Montana State, Montana.
I've got cousins that went to Montana State, and they hate Montana. That is a pure hatred rivalry. They do not like each other
at all.
Montana State is like, I don't know. SDSU and South Dakota definitely have the hatred. I don't know if it's anywhere near Montana State. And like you said, Montana for years was the better program. Lately, it's been Montana State. The Bobcats have risen up and have had success. They've not won a title yet, but they've been in the semifinals. They have pushed for, I think they were in the finals one time too. And Montana, it's been a while. So Montana's got to get their edge back. The Grizzlies got to fight back and take down the Bobcats. Come on, Grizz.
I'm actually impressed that you are aware of the bitterness of that rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
It is very real.
I got cousins. My cousins are Montana State people. They don't like Montana.
And number 6 is Boise State, Notre Dame, which I love watching. So you like watching G5 teams. I love watching Cinderella. So this game is very intriguing to me. I'm kind of surprised to see it on here, but this is a game that excites you too, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunately you don't have Ashton Genty, who is, of course, the star for Boise State. But what we know about Boise State, every year they're a good football team. They've had a couple down years, like where they went 7-5, which is bad for them. But typically, you go back to Dan Hawkins, you go to Peterson there, you go to any of the recent coaches. They've been a good team, playoff team last year. Again, they They weren't embarrassed by Penn State in the game. They were close. It was competitive. Just they weren't good enough. But I don't know what that team is without Ashton Genty. I mean, he was a top 10 pick for a reason. So exciting brand made, but you don't have the superstar like you had last year.
They have Eric Chenander.
They do.
They do. They got Eric
Chins is
Chenander.
there.
All right, top 5. This is where it is. It is Big Ten, it is SEC, and it is brand heavy. At number 5, Oregon at Penn State. That's going to be fun to watch. Even if that was in Eugene, it's going to be at Happy Valley. I wonder if they'll be able to have it as a night game, or does it have to be another one of these 4 billion noon games? Number 4, Texas at Georgia. We're going to watch them play again. All right. Do you get intrigued by watching Texas and Georgia play for a third time in just about 12 months?
Not really, but it is still a great game. Both teams are playoff contenders and title contenders, so you have to watch it, right?
Oh, for sure. I just would have had it lower on the list personally.
Agreed.
But no, I get you. All right, Penn State at Ohio State. Can James Franklin, can they finally get over the hump? All right, it's May, so Jake, it's the perfect time to predict the outcome of this game. Who's going to win?
I got to take Ohio State.
All right,
James Franklin hasn't done it yet. I mean, he won the title of the Big Ten in 2016, but ever since then it's been close, no cigar. I take the champs until the champs prove me otherwise.
It's hard to argue against that, except I'm going to take Penn State.
I don't hate that.
At some
Don't
point,
hate it.
It's got to happen, you'd think. All right, we'll see what happens there. Alabama, Georgia at number 2, not a shocker.
No.
Man, that wasn't. You remember that game last year? It was epic. What was it? 28-0.
Big lead.
30-7 at halftime.
Yes.
And then Georgia led with like 3 minutes to go.
Correct.
And then Alabama still won. All right. What's the receiver's name? The true freshman?
Ryan Williams for Bama. He's so fast. He's so fast.
The Herculean Superman type effort. He catches the ball, does a spin move and a juke, and makes 2 Georgia DBs miss.
It was wild.
It was crazy. And he was, if you hadn't heard, only 17 at the time. All right, Texas at Ohio State. You had it high on your list. Here it is, number 1. My only knock. I'm not even going to bring up the noon kickoff, even though I just did. My only knock about it being number 1 is it's not a conference game, which to me would add more value. But the fact that it's 2 big brands at a conference that you don't see play, I know we just saw them last playoff, just disregard that right now. We don't see them play all the time, does add more intrigue. What say you?
Well, I'm with you. I mean, conference games, of course, are very intriguing, but we don't get to see this type of matchup very often. Teams that were in the semifinals and had an epic game last year playing each other the next year off the bat. Like you said, it sucks that it's 11 a.m. It's criminal to football fans out there to have to watch this game at 11 a.m. or noon Eastern time. But it's just fun to still have marquee non-conference games in a landscape that favors more of low-key non-conference games and win your conference games to get to the playoffs. So I commend both schools for having this matchup on their schedule. I commend them. Easy to not play. If you're Ohio State, you could play Toledo, you could play Eastern Washington, and you could play somebody else bad on your schedule. But they're playing Texas. This could be a possible loss for them.
Yeah, nobody would bat an eye, honestly.
Absolutely not.
Like, very few people brought up Ohio State's non-con last year. Very few people, some did, but not a lot of people brought up Michigan's non-con a couple of years ago. So it doesn't really tend to get held against you too much. The next question we got here. All right. And this was written by Andy Jurassic, who does a good job. The question, or the statement that he poses, I guess it's a question. Trae Taylor, Nebraska's most important recruit since Ndamukong Suh? Question mark. What do you think about this?
I would think that'd be Dylan Raiola, is it not?
That's who popped into my head.
How do you put Trae Taylor over Raiola, who is at one point the top quarterback, the top player in the country per many outlets? It's someone you want to get here because his dad obviously is a legacy player. It's the big name. I can't put Trae Taylor above Raiola in terms of biggest recruit since Ndamukong Suh. I just can't do it. But I appreciate the effort.
So he makes good points here. Obviously, they're both highly recruited quarterbacks. Okay, highly thought of, nationally ranked as far as recruits across the entire country. Both of them are. Trae Taylor's currently a 4-star quarterback, number 3 quarterback in the entire country. I believe top 15 player in the entire country, and he's only a sophomore. 6'3", 185 pounds, 3,000 passing yards, 20 touchdowns. Okay, this past season. So a heck of a sophomore season. You imagine would only get better as a junior and senior. One of the cases that he makes is the peer recruiting. Now, I've sat here and said a billion times, and I'm rounding down when I say that, I've never seen a Nebraska player peer recruit like Dylan Raiola.
Right.
He isn't as maybe forward with it on X as Trae is. Trae's very interactive on X. He's very, I don't want to say forward, but he's very like interactive with other guys that he's trying to help peer recruit. Whereas you'll hear guys who commit and come to Nebraska saying Dylan was the first one that texted me, or Dylan was the first guy that met us when we got off the plane.
Right.
So I think Dylan does a lot of peer recruiting. I think Trae is obviously doing a lot of peer recruiting. I think it's hard to bypass Dylan, but I thought it was an intriguing question because right now he's our only commit for 2027.
Mm-hmm.
The first question, God, I don't even want to put it out there in the universe, but I'm not going to be the only one that puts this out there. Coaches are going to nonstop recruit this kid for the next 2 years. So we need to see him actually sign and step foot in Lincoln, which he seems like very clear. Hey, if these guys are still in the building that I've committed to play for and they're still here in 18 months, I'll be here. So that's always good news. All right, but how many people can he bring with him and how big of an impact can he have as far as peer recruiting? When you get a quarterback right out the gate a year to year and a half in advance like Nebraska has with Trae, hopefully that attracts a lot of guys with you.
Well, the big question, though, also is how many players can you take in a class? Because a lot of these classes are filling up with transfer players. How many high school kids are schools willing to take? So, yeah, I love the fact that he's out there recruiting. It's just by 2027, how much is this landscape changed even more toward recruit transfers versus high school players? So, I mean, there's so much to learn the next couple of years about where football goes in recruiting.
Admittedly, okay, Sue, he was a redshirt freshman my senior year. So we played together for 2 years. Okay, he didn't play a ton until he became a starter. I believe he was a sophomore. I was a rookie in St. Louis. So I was paying attention, but I was trying to swim and not sink as a rookie in the NFL.
Right.
So you got to help me out a little bit with this.
Okay.
When I was a player at Nebraska, I didn't really pay attention to recruiting rankings or who was this or who was that. I was aware of Marlon Lucky. Okay. Beyond that, I was like, whatever. You know, Steinkühler, when he came in, obviously he was a defensive lineman, a young guy when he got there. And I think we crossed over for about 2 years. Was Sue thought of, I know he was highly recruited and it was a big deal, but was he thought of like, and we can look back with the benefit of his career and hindsight being 2020. But at the time, would he have been considered on the level of a Dylan Raiola type commit? No,
he's a four-star. He's a four-star player. I mean,
that's what I thought.
Big time a guy you wanted badly, but he was not a five-star. He wasn't seen as a top 5 player in the country. He was a 4-star player out of the Portland area. And of course, you know, his senior year became an absolute weapon for Nebraska. But his first couple of years, like you said, you had 2 years with him. He wasn't what he was then, what he ended up being in 2009 and beyond in the NFL. But no, he was not seen as a 5-star type player coming out of high school, but still very respected, very popular player, just not the same accolades.
I'll share 2 quick stories about Sue, and then I know we got to get to break. Number one, I remember when he came on his visit, we were playing Pittsburgh. And
that game.
Yeah. Well,
was it 7-6? That 7-6 game?
Yes. It was Pittsburgh. And I remember their left tackle was like all Big East or whatever. And that's the guy I was going to go against. And that was my sophomore year. No, that was my junior year. And we're watching film at the hotel, either Friday night before the game or Saturday morning. I don't remember. And I remember I'm just getting amped up to play this all Big East left tackle. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, it is the Big East. Oh, how good can he be? I'm just being honest with you. These are my thoughts. Like, this dude is all this, all that. And then I'm like, it is the Big East. They play basketball. Now they don't even exist in football. So in my mind, I'm like getting all amped up. I stand up and I walk out of the hotel meeting room and I bump shoulders with this kid. And I have no idea who it is. I look at him. He goes, "Hey, I'm Sue. Nice to meet you." And he goes, "I'm here for my official visit." So we chatted for like 2 minutes, but that was really it. But we basically kind of bumped shoulders, semi-ran into each other. And that was kind of how I met Sue. A couple years go by. All right. And he's in the program. And as he redshirts his first year, and then he's obviously a redshirt freshman his second year, and then I graduate and I leave. And Callahan at the time, he who shall not be named. All right. He's a legendary offensive line coach. All right. That's according to the article that I briefly read yesterday. He was the Bertha sled. I said, it's 380 pounds. You have to hit it just right in order to move it. He called it the Bertha sled that he developed. But I remember he got big into the Oklahoma drill. Like when we first got here, when I first got here under Solich, I don't remember doing it a ton. Callahan made it a staple and a big deal. And I remember somebody asking me after the Cotton Bowl, after we played Auburn, who is the toughest guy to ever go against, or who do you think would be the toughest guy to ever go against on this team in the Oklahoma drill? And I kind of went through everybody I'd gone against. Slauson, obviously, big, strong, powerful dude. There were some other guys. My response to the person was, I never went against him because he's a D lineman and he's a young guy, but I actually think it would be Sue. And then Sue obviously turned into be.
That was a good call.
And Dominic.
That was a good call there.
Frickin' Sue. House of Spears Sue. That's what his name means. So,
that's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, May 10th, Wolves plays Brighton at 9 a.m., followed by Bournemouth versus Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays West Ham at 8:15 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Arsenal at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 82 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer located at 8th and P.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Play ball! Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red.
I tried to hide my cigarette smoking. Then I was rushed into emergency surgery to repair the damage smoking did to my heart. It shocked everyone because they thought I was healthy. Yet because I smoked, I had a severe heart condition that nearly killed me. My tip is, you may be able to hide your smoking from the world, but you can't hide from the damage smoking does to your body.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Jake. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Broken pencil.
Broken pencil who?
Never mind. There's no point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Segment 2 on the Adam Carriker Show. Is there anything off the text line? What's the craziest thing that parents have ever been asked to do that they've actually followed through on and done? Did anybody text in?
There's just a couple of thoughts on Sue.
Okay, what are the thoughts on Sue, Rube? Nobody gives a crap about the horse next to me. Thank you. Love you all, too. All right. What are the quick thoughts on Sue, and then we'll move on.
5162 says Sue was only a world-class recruit in hindsight. Sure, he was good, but nobody knew just how good. Somebody else fights back a little bit. 2051 says Sue was a top 100 recruit on Rivals.
So, again, when I was playing outside of, like, Baker Steinkuhler, who I knew was a 5-star, and Marlin, who was a big-time deal. Like, I didn't give a crap. I've said it a million times. I don't care who you are when you walk through the door. All I care about is what you do once you're in the building. So when I bumped into Sue, and he goes, hey, I'm Sue. Nice to meet you. I had no idea who he was. Now, I put together really quickly he was a recruit. But beyond that, I wasn't that interested when I was playing. So I just thought it was an interesting topic of conversation. Obviously, Dylan Raiola is a big-time get for Nebraska. I think Trae Taylor's a big-time get for Nebraska. In hindsight, Sue was kind of a ginormous get for Nebraska as well. All right, we got a bit of a sports roundup here. We're going to go quickly through a few things. Yesterday, we talked about the Big Ten win totals, all right, for like Oregon, Ohio State, Nebraska, et cetera, et cetera. The SEC win totals, no team is projected to win more, 9.5, no more than 10 games, I suppose, if you take the over. Alabama, 9.5, Georgia, 9.5, Texas, 9.5, LSU, 8.5, Ole Miss, 8.5, Tennessee, 8.5. And then you got, Auburn, 7.5, Missouri, 7.5. All right, A&M down at 7.5. That surprises me a little bit. All right, and then Florida at 6.5. This is a team that's over-under should be around 8.5, 9.5, but their schedule, I'm pretty sure they're playing the Patriots, the Giants, and the Packers the first 3 weeks of the season. All right, let's go on to the next thing here. Nebraska closing in. Well, I don't want to say closing in, but they are doing very well when it comes to recruiting guys that are highly thought of nationally, in particular offensive linemen. They will have 7 offensive linemen visit during the month of June alone. All right, elite offensive tackle Kevin Obat is down to 4 schools now. Obat ranks number 9 nationally and the number 3 offensive tackle in the country, a top 10 recruit in the entire country. His narrative is listed down to 4 schools. It's Oregon, Utah, Nebraska, and Michigan. 3 Big Ten schools and the random Pac-12 school out there. Also, it's strongly now being rumored, the rumor and innuendo, the College Football Playoff Committee could be moving to a straight seeding model per CBS Sports' Brandon Marcello. So Jake would be happy. I would not. Or wait, you actually liked the auto bids, didn't you? You just didn't like how it was seeded.
Yeah, I'd like the seeding to be kind of like the rankings are, not necessarily a big, certain champions get the top 4 seeds. That just That ruined everything last year.
The way you said that, you sounded so upset by it. You ruined everything last year. I'm with you. But so essentially, it doesn't really. Let me look at this again real quick. This would eliminate automatic buys for conference champs. In its place, the top 4 ranked teams in the college football playoff would receive first-round buys. This would mean teams get a bye regardless of if they win their conference or not. So I think they're saying the conference champs still automatically get in, but once you're in, it's straight rankings after that, which is going to make a lot of people happy. I still think you have to take certain things out of people's opinions and make it purely based on what happens on the field. Also, I do think you need to factor in people's opinions. It's got to be a blend. I just get nervous that you're going to have 16 teams in this thing in a couple of years, and you're going to have the first 12 seeds are all going to be SEC teams and maybe a Big Ten team, 11 SEC, 1 Big Ten team. And that's what we're going to end up with. And I'm going to be like, I told you so. I'm just warning you, ESPN SEC bias is real, ladies and gentlemen. Now, had they done this a year ago, here's how the seeding would have looked. The number 1 seed would have been Oregon, number 2, Georgia, number 3, Texas, number 4, Penn State. Honestly, it makes more sense than what we had last year. But what we had last year was just hot garbage as far as the way it was set up to begin with. Number 5 would have been Notre Dame. Number 6 would have been Ohio State. Now, remember, Ohio State was the number 8 seed. Was Notre Dame 7?
I think somewhere in there, yeah.
7, okay. And let's see. Number 7 would have been Tennessee. Number 8 would have been Indiana. Number 9, Boise State. Number 10, SMU. Number 11, Arizona State. Number 12, Clemson. So the Pac-12 and the ACC champ would have gotten in. Arizona State and Clemson, these would have been the 2 bottom seeds. I don't know, man. I'm going to stick with what I said. If we go to a 16-team playoff, I still like the Big 12 and ACC champ automatically getting the top 8 seed. You can be 7 and 8. If you win a conference championship, we're going to pretend there's 4 power conferences still, I guess, but you should get a home playoff game at least for the first round. Is how I see it. The Big Ten and SEC champs should get a top 4 seed, so you're guaranteed, as long as you win, your first 2 playoff games are guaranteed to be on your home field. That's how I see it. I don't know. I kind of like it that way. I don't like leaving too many things up to the opinions of people because I just don't like that. Bias creeps in. I did think this was interesting. Jumping up to the NFL, I'll let you take a guess. And I gave you no forewarning on this, nor do I expect you to get it right. But here we go. Let's have some fun. There's only one team in the NFL that is currently favored to win all 17 of their games. You get 3 guesses. Who do you think it is, Jake?
Eagles.
Nope.
Chiefs.
Nope.
Let's see.
I'll give you a gigantic hit. Their quarterback once threw a ball at a Nebraska football player.
Okay, the Bills.
The Bills. Yep, the Bills are favored in all 17 of their games.
Okay.
I just thought that was kind of a random, interesting stat as we sit here in May. Nebraska, on the other hand, is favored by 6.5 over Cincinnati. When you saw this, what was your reaction to that, Jake?
I mean, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, like you were kind of talking about it the other day. Kind of the expectations for that game is kind of hard, but it feels like Nebraska could win. So maybe if you're in that camp, you think, well, it should be a lot more, but there's also that could be a close one. So I kind of like where that's sitting.
I have no problem with it. I don't really care. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, I either think it's going to be really, really close down to the end, which I know can be terrifying for Husker fans, but the only way to get over that hump is to actually win more of those games, or we're just going to blow them out the water. It's for me, I don't think it's going to be a 7-point game. If it's a 7-point game, we win, glorious. I'm happy to be wrong. But we'll see what happens. All right. Shedeur Sanders, at least according to this, all right, and I quote, 99% of the hatred is towards Pops, and then I'm just his son, end quote. Basically, he's saying he thinks most of the media scrutiny he's facing stems from how they view his dad. Quick reaction and thoughts to that? Yay, nay?
Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from. At some point, you kind of want to separate from that. But, I mean, that 99% of the hate that he gets is from that. Also, 99% of the NIL he got was kind of from that. So, I mean, it's pros and cons.
His number is retired at Colorado. I think we all know why. That being said, there's pluses and minuses to this. I actually don't think the media dislikes Deion Sanders. Now, maybe some folks in the Colorado media don't like him. Okay. I think he dislikes some of them in return, to be honest with you. I just thought it was interesting. I like it more when people tend to look in the mirror and hold the mirror facing them rather than turn the mirror around and reflect everything to other people. So that's what kind of stood out there to me as well. All right. I've seen this a few places now. Michael Jordan, all right, the 6-time NBA champ, will join NBC Sports coverage as a special contributor this fall. This is a guy who does not talk and does not say much. Outside of The Last Dance, I see little clips here and there where he's always asked about the GOAT, and he's like, that's up to other people to decide. Other than that, I never see anything or hear from Michael Jordan ever, and I've always thought it was brilliant on his part, to be honest with you. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Now, there's a quote here. I'm going to be honest. I didn't double check to make sure this is accurate. I find it hard to believe. But here's the quote that I also saw. This is reportedly from Michael. LeBron better retire soon because he isn't going to like what I have to say. Now, again, I have a hard time believing that's a real quote. But what's your reaction to this as a whole? Because this is the most interesting thing to happen in the NBA probably since LeBron got drafted, to me. What do you think?
Yeah, it is fascinating for those reasons that you pointed out. I mean, he's been an owner, so you kind of look at the top end of it. He's been very close to what's been going on over the last several years. I know some people thought, well, he might not pay that much attention. Well, he's had to because he was part owner of the Hornets there. So I think it's interesting. I almost kind of think it back to our WWE type of thoughts is maybe keep him as the prize fighter, right? Only bring him in. They call him a special contributor. Bring him in for the big games or the Saturday nights, or I don't know what their package is, but whatever that might be. Because like you said, it's hard to imagine him kind of sitting in the studio for regular season game number 2, or game number 37 in February or something like that. So I don't know. It's it will be very exciting to see if he has some extra pizzazz to bring to it. And I know, like, I love listening to Urban Meyer or Nick Saban or something when they talk about college football. When you bring in the GOATs, and in this case, the GOAT, to talk about it, obviously your ears perk up to everything he's got to say. I completely agree. Like I said, this is the most interesting that happened in the NBA. Maybe the Golden State Cavs series when LeBron led them back from a 3-1 deficit. That was pretty awesome, especially that 73-win Golden State team. All right, you got to give them their due. All right. We are going to talk a little bit more NBA when we come back real quick. The best place in town to hit up after your round of golf with your guys is Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill. And this weekend, don't forget to watch the PGA Championship there. 23 beers on tap, a specific bar for high-end bourbon and spirits, 30 TVs showing the PGA Championship, Husker softball, Husker baseball, Major League Baseball, and more. Enjoy their delicious wings or handheld sandwiches like the Turkey Melt, Liquid Gold, hamburger, the Bull Market, barbecue burger, and more. Enjoy their brand new chocolate chip cookie skillet as well. Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 2755 Jamie Lane, just north of 27th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks. And grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln. Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends Friday, May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value on the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres' low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Subject to proof financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you looking for a place to relax and unwind after a long week? Grotto Bar and Lounge is the perfect spot to enjoy a full menu and in-house DJs on Friday and Saturday nights. If you're wanting to start your Saturday or Sunday off the right way, stop by for brunch starting at 9 a.m. Don't forget, Grotto offers a full catering service as well for those graduation parties, birthday celebrations, and weekend family get-togethers. Give Grotto Bar and Lounge a call today at 402-261-3019 or visit them in person at 70th and A in the Clock Tower Shopping Center.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a hard-hitting final segment of the week here on the Adam Carriker Show. All right, so I swear to God, I promise you, I'm not trying to bash the NBA. I just have to express my real feelings. I miss the NBA being intriguing, being interesting. I'm clearly not the only one. So we're going to play a couple of clips, and then we're going to move on, and Jake's going to drop some knowledge about the NBA playoffs. We will start talking more and more about them going forward. Usually around the second round is when I really start to get into the NBA playoffs and NBA and start to get excited. Obviously, we're around that time of year now. But real quick, just play the clip. And you had to go back and find it. Yes, it took you like 10 minutes to find it because I sent it to you. I didn't even remember. I thought it was like September. It turns out it was January, so more recent than I thought. But basically, Shaq, and again, this was before Jimmy Butler went to the Warriors. You know, he's going to be paid like $50 million. Should he go hard? He wants to be traded. Should he not go hard? And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You go hard regardless of what you want, regardless of how things are going. Number one, because you should be wired that way. Number two, you're making $50 million. But go ahead and roll the clip. And this is part of, I think, what has turned some people off about the NBA. I'll give my quick thoughts, and then we're going to move on. Because actually, these are the best basketball players in the world. They are fighting for a championship, and this is when I really start to get into things. But go ahead, Jake.
But Pat Riley ain't going to just give him away. That's fine. But Jimmy Butler's a really good player.
I'm saying people that don't understand this is the best.
We understand it very well.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
This is the
public understands. Shaq, No, they have paid. Jimmy Butler makes $50 million a year.
Want more? So what?
He ain't getting more.
Okay, so guess what? You don't want me. I don't want to be here.
Okay, well then, but you can't just not show up to work.
Why not?
Because you took the other two. You took the 50 for this year and next year.
Okay.
So you're saying you took those two, but you're not because you don't get 2 more.
Doesn't matter.
You could ask for a trade, but you gotta show up.
Nature. You don't want me. I don't want to be here.
You don't feel a responsibility when you are under contract for this season to play this season.
And next year.
I do. But I'm not going to go all out. I was ready to say the other way. I'm not going to go outplay, but I'm not going to go out, especially like.
You're not going to play hard?
No, listen, I didn't say hard. I didn't say hard. I said I'm not going to go all out, especially if we're not going to win.
You don't feel no obligation?
Because you know what? At 35, what if I tear a knee and get hurt?
You still going to make $50 million? You got $50 million coming.
Bro, I want more, man. You keep talking about 2 years. What about year 3, 4, 5, and 6? I want more.
Because if you were that good at that time, your extension would have been longer.
No.
You signed a deal that you thought was great at the time.
He's old.
Michael Jordan, let me give you this example. Michael Jordan played for $2.3 million.
I understand.
Like when he was there, and then said, I signed the contract, I'm going to play. Period.
That's what
now I could ask for more. And he never did. But Jimmy could ask for more, but he still has an obligation to show up.
Michael Jordan end up leaving?
He has the obligation to show up. He retired.
Business of basketball. He came back and played for Washington.
Yeah, he did.
But also the business of basketball, go all out.
Listen,
go all out. You owe that. You owe that to your teammates. You owe that to the fans. You owe that to the franchise.
No.
You owe it to yourself.
No, you owe it to your teammates, boy.
That's what I said.
You can get mad at the Miami Heat organization, but the fans of Miami and those guys in that locker room, they ain't got nothing to do with you wanting a contract extension.
Okay, Ernie, to your point, how come people don't play hard in the All-Star? How come
I wish we all had an answer to that.
But they don't go.
There's no consequences for losing an All-Star game.
No, they don't go.
There's
all
consequences.
Out.
They're not on the contract in
It's
All-Star game.
one reason they don't go all out in the All-Star game because they don't want to get hurt. So again, if I'm not winning the championship at 35, right?
He's making $50 million a year.
Listen to what I'm saying. It might be another team that gives him an extension.
First of all, I forgot just how good that segment was. I really did. I haven't heard it since I sent it to Jake in January. I remembered the premise. I'm a big fan of Shaq. I'm a big fan of Barkley, Kenny Smith, Ernie, all of them. I'm a big fan of all of them. But that shouldn't even be a debate. All right, quick thoughts. By the way, I do believe Adam Silver had his hand in the trade because it makes no sense to trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers. You don't get a whole lot back. The first round pick that you end up getting back ends up being Cooper Flagg with a 1.8% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, and then you end up getting it. Yeah, I buy into it. It's the business of basketball, as Shaq laid out. Quick thoughts on the playoffs, and we got to get out of here, Jake.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting right now. We've got Celtics and Knicks tonight, Game 7, and then another Game 6, and then we got Game 7 between Denver and OKC up this weekend. So it should be fun as we get close to conference finals.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a phenomenal weekend. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
Hey, I like your new car.
Thanks.